Craig and Hackride have had they've butted heads in the past about time stamping segments. Hackride thinks it would help the show, and Craig doesn't care about what helps the show. So I'm going to make it easier. It's going to be very subtle today. Whenever we change a topic, and you have to put the timestamp on YouTube, I'm just going to loudly shout, "Right here, Craig! Next segment!"
I already timestamped it as you said that, so I'm
right here is where we're moving on. So Kevin Brennan has been on. Kevin Brennan's losing his mind, I think. He's losing his audience, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But I also think he's starting to snap a little bit. And I know that Cardiff's no fan of Kevin Brennan's, so I thought he might enjoy analyzing some of this with us. You were on the day one FKB train, Cardiff, is that right?
I believe I started the FK. I put the key in the ignition and fired up the FKB train.
What was the what was the genesis of that? Just that he kicked you off the show?
No, that was an acceptable response to my appearance, I guess.
Yeah.
When you praise the great E-Rock on MLC, you have to know what's coming.
That's true.
I made that fatal error.
Shame on you.
But yes, no, I was annoyed, irritated by Kevin Brennan for a while. I didn't understand the audience he had. I didn't understand how people could watch just an angry old man banging a desk for 2 hours a day. But the Karl stuff, when he crossed that line,
yeah,
when he tried to take down something that I hold in mild esteem, I said, that's going too far. A bridge too far.
Absolutely. So here's my thing with Kevin Brennan now, too, and here's where I made the mistake, is I would always say when we talk about Kevin Brennan, I go, at least he's funny. That's the one, like, caveat I would give everything. Is like, hey, he is a funny guy. And then the more I've watched him, I'm like, is he really? Because he's just shouting the same shit over and over again. Like, if you don't watch him much and then you see a clip, you're like, oh, that's pretty funny. But then if you analyze it any further, if you give it any more, research or time spent watching him, you're like, oh, he's just shouting the same shit all the time. So, like, by me talking about him today, if it ever gets on his radar, which it very well may not, but if it does, what he'll do, and I've asked myself, am I ready for this heat, this backlash? Because I'm a sensitive guy at heart. Am I going to be able to handle this? When he calls me a hack very loudly over and over again, he's going to do that. Hack, hack, hack. By the way, it's not hack at all to yell a catchphrase over and over again.
Hamburger.
He's going to make a ham-handed blind joke. For example, this guy can't read the room. He's going to repeat that over and over again.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's going to say that I talk too much, which is a weird criticism of a podcaster, but he's going to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. And then say that I'm a nobody. Like, who am I to criticize him because he's a nobody? And let's say he spends 5 minutes on me, and that first rant is 30 seconds. He's going to do it 10 times. Yes. He's going to just wash, rinse, repeat. And that's my issue with Kevin Brennan, is it's such a formula, but it's a shit formula. Like, it can't keep anyone's attention. It's not interesting if you pay attention to it long enough.
Well, let me give you a fun fact, a tidbit. Maybe I'm spoiling something, but I don't think I'm spoiling it anymore because I don't think we're going to do this.
Okay.
But myself and 2 other dabblers who, for their protection, will remain nameless, unless you guess.
Okay.
You dabbler and OJ. We had plans to do an episode of Misery Loves Company, obviously spelt CUMPAN.
That's fun.
Yes, I have graphics made up. I have a screen. We have music. We're ready to go. But we were going to do an entire episode of Misery Loves Company. The game was we were each going to get 10 drops from each cast member. So again, this was at the time of Brennan, Zumach, and Levy. So we were each going to collect 10 drops, and that's all we could use to do a 1-hour show.
Okay.
And God damn it, it was working. We were able to almost it was almost too real. I think that's why we didn't want to risk the copyright strike to actually put this episode up. But that's how basic of a show it got to. And again, at least it's a little different now because he has some other losers in there, like Fat Carlos Danger.
Well, so Carlos Danger was on here last week, and I like him. So if he wants to refute anything I say here today, he's more than welcome to. I do like him. I don't know how he feels. I know he likes Kevin, right?
He does. He
But,
does.
like-
He's a Kevin Cook.
That's fine. I have no
He's
issue
also
with
very
that.
fat.
I have no issue with that. I would just have a hard time believing he could dispute anything I just said about Kevin. You know what I mean? Like, you can like him if you want, but everything I just said is absolutely true.
Yes, I would agree.
All right, so he's had a bug up his ass about this Shuli thing. We talked about it last week. Shuli's network got taken down, and Stuttering John and Kevin Brennan were celebrating this. And I guess Karl did, a portion of his podcast where he was kind of condemning people, basically saying, hey, by other YouTube channels celebrating a YouTube channel getting taken down for language or content, that's, dare I say, hypocritical. It's a bad look because now your channel can get taken down for the exact same thing. How do you not understand that?
You're also encouraging. Again, it's same with the chat and the doxing, getting all upset. He was the one encouraging all this behavior in the beginning, and now it's come back to bite his ape-like friend in the ass.
Yes. So they were taking a
His
victory
name's
lap.
Gladwell Ape. That's why I'm not saying anything else. I'm not doxing. It's on
I didn't think too much about it, to be
Publicly.
honest with you, until now.
Real quick,
Yeah.
got some super chats. Want to get through them?
Oh, good. Let's spend 40 minutes like
Yep.
Misery Loves Company.
I was
Don't
gonna
worry,
do
there
the.
won't be that many.
I was gonna do.
That's true. That's a good point.
I was gonna do the Brennan bit again, but I didn't know if it would play, so I didn't. Dominic, $2. Morning, he says. Thank you,
morning.
sir. Drew P Balls, $10. Happy Sunday, gents.
Take that one down. That's a
Down. It's down. It's down.
I think that's a name. I don't know if I can say that one. Drew People. I don't know if that's your real name, Drew Peoples.
Dominic, $5. I thought you said you never would. I think he was referring to having Cardiff on.
Having Cardiff on. That's the thing. He's magnetic. He reels you in, even if you don't want to. Eventually, all of a sudden,
Corn Diff, $2. FKB.
Bye, Brennan. Legally, I have to play that when someone super chats FKB.
That's fair.
It's fine. Suburban Tug Time, $5. Hi guys, love you, moi.
Right back at you, Suburban Tug Time.
Adorable.
All right, so let's get into it. Here's Kevin Brennan last week on Misery Loves Company. I can't believe, Cardiff, do you think Kevin is this stupid, or is it a bit that he's doing? Like, is he really this dumb to not understand why it's hypocritical to do this?
See, I mean, I go back to Kevin Brennan just bashing his brother for
Being successful.
just there was never an argument, there was never a coherent. Again, did you ever do debate in high school, Blind Mike?
Sure.
Or did you need eyes for that? I don't know.
I don't think legally they could put that in the rules.
Okay. Good. But it was just I never did debate, so I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but at least in debate class there was always a coherent argument. And that's
Right.
what you were encouraged to do, is have a reason, whatever your argument is, whatever you're arguing for or against, have a coherent argument for or against that.
No, Kevin's
Kevin
fueled
doesn't seem
by
to have that for anything. Nothing makes sense.
he's fueled by jealousy and bitterness is what he's completely fueled by. That's every rant he's ever been on is essentially him screaming, I'm jealous of this person. I wish I was more like this person and had the success that they're having. That's every rant he goes on.
But he just reaches down and pulls a couple keywords out of his gut
Yeah.
and just screams that.
Yeah.
Ad
Dare I
nauseam.
say hack. That is hack behavior. I would be inclined to say. So let's get into it, Craig. What do we got here?
The new Stuttering John.
Yeah, I mean, he brings it up, but like based on what I saw in this podcast, I think there may be elements that he could be the new Stuttering John. I think he's onto something.
I don't even know where to start. I'm not supposed to be celebrating it. I'm not supposed to be celebrating it. Weren't they celebrating? Wasn't I supposed to take the big L when after the John sniping them debacle? Wasn't I supposed to take a gigantic L for that? And weren't they gloating? Weren't they gloating? They had a thumbnail show. I didn't watch the show, but one of their shows had a thumbnail.
Hold on, I didn't watch the show, but I'm gonna comment on it. I'm gonna make some harsh comments about it.
Based on a thumbnail. Yeah.
They had a very incriminating thumbnail that I'm about to rant about.
Now that sounds like he's ripping off Shuli's bit. He's going off for an hour on a thumbnail. Except this would be
I haven't done an ounce of prep for this, but I'm really gonna go off here. So Kevin is gonna do this thing where he tries to compare it to other situations. I guess Shuli and Mike Morse and Bob Levy were gloating that they were getting super chats. Is that what he's referring to? That they were getting a bunch of super chats when Stuttering John was snipe streaming them? And Kevin's like, well, they gloated about that. Why can't I gloat about this? It's like, so they gloated about their show being successful? You don't see how that's different than calling Daddy YouTube and saying, I would like this channel taken down, please? You don't see why those would be two different things?
Like Kevin is a noted cyclist. He has pink cycle shoes, I believe, and a pink helmet. I've heard from Stuttering John. This would be like him doing a show talking about how great it is that there's some guy with a sledgehammer smashing cyclists in the face as they're riding around in New Jersey.
Why? I don't ride around in that neighborhood. What's the matter to me?
This is great. No, it's not, because eventually that sledgehammer is going to probably hit you in the face.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to change your tune when you hear his pizza parlor analogy that he has later, but we'll get there.
One of their shows had a thumbnail. Is Kevin the new Stuttering John? So they weren't gloating. They're throwing me now. I'm as big a clown as in their eyes as Stuttering John. But that's not gloating. They weren't celebrating me taking an L.
Is Kevin retarded? Like, genuinely, is he mentally unwell? Is he mentally challenged? Because how is he not grasping this simple concept? No, gloating is not the... People are allowed to gloat. Yes, you're correct. Human beings are allowed to gloat, and they should be, in fact. I would fight for that freedom. The issue is that you're a comedian, supposedly, or a retired comedian, I guess, and a podcaster, that is championing censorship. You're promoting censorship and asking for more of it, in fact. You're saying, I wish more people would be censored on YouTube. You don't see how that's the issue?
And let's be honest, I don't even think he's, not to pump up Stuttering John's tires at all, I don't even think Kevin Brennan has ever reached the heights that Stuttering John has.
Absolutely not. No way.
Definitely not.
Kevin, honestly, Stuttering John is, if you, on paper, much more successful than Kevin Brennan. It's not even close.
If you go back like a decade or so, most of the stuff Stuttering John says could be true, but he's living back there still.
He's pretending that's still the case. Yeah, and he's built that up. That's the thing about Stuttering John is if we'll get to him later, but like there's something to be said for being humble, I think, is my main point here.
They weren't celebrating. So I'm supposed to be somber when they were literally, weren't they?
I think he's mentally challenged. I think there's a little something wrong. I feel kind of bad doing this now. Like, I think there's a little something wrong with him.
Could be.
I'm also a little annoyed. I mean, I am nowhere near the success of MLC Podcast. I understand. I accept my position every time he tweets out a screenshot of my Patreon.
Yeah.
Making fun of me. I accept my position in this world as a C or D level podcast. But as soon as I made a little bit of money with this, I bought a fucking microphone.
It's a smart thing to do.
Yes. Like, I think the first $200 I made on Patreon went to a microphone.
It's a good investment, I think.
Like,
yes.
fuck, he's still using his kid's gamer headset.
In 2002.
Sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like, yeah, so Kevin did a show where he had a bunch of tech problems, and he's like, what? People laughed at that. People celebrated that. It's like, yeah, Kevin, but YouTube didn't take that down. Don't you understand? Like, how are you not he pretends not to get things, like with Karl, when Karl was mad at him for trying to sabotage the Stuttering John interview, basically. And Kevin's like, what? People don't do interviews all the time. What does he need John for? I don't get it. Like, he pretends he doesn't know. He's like a little kid that got caught doing something. He's a child.
Do you think he pretends, or do you think he really can quickly justify it in his head? And He believes it.
Maybe he convinces himself into believing it, but yeah, at the start, I do think he's pretending. I think he knows. I think he knows all of this. He's an adult man.
I was going to say, I don't know. Next, we have him telling us that he's not jealous.
No, not at all. And you can tell. You know what's great about this is he doesn't even have to use words. We can just tell he's not jealous.
But they're celebrating, all the super chats that were coming in, and I got to take the L, and I'm a clown. But I'm not supposed to celebrate their L, right? So Pottstown never happened, so I couldn't celebrate that L because that was not their problem. That was all the
Who's saying that? Who said you couldn't celebrate that, Kevin?
I think he's looping them all in like it's just a regular. Putting on a disaster of a show is exactly the same as having your channel taken down for animal cruelty.
Yeah, no, you can absolutely celebrate that and point and laugh at them all you want. No, I don't think anyone said you couldn't, Kevin. What straw man are you creating now?
Couldn't celebrate that L because that was not their problem. That was all the tech guys' problem. They didn't fuck up anything. I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous. So I'm not supposed to celebrate it. I mean, like I said, Karl thinks he's the fucking mayor of this fucking hackverse.
He is, actually. We had an election, Kevin. That's why you get out and vote, kids. You can't not vote and then complain when these people are put in office. Karl is the mayor of Hackville, or whatever he called him.
Yes,
but he won an election fair and square. And I'm sick and tired of these people claiming that Karl stole the election. It's ridiculous.
And he's like, we don't, if one goes down, we all go wrong. That's not how business works. So if you have a pizza place and somebody else has a pizza place, it's like, if that pizza place closes, it's going to kill us. No, that's not how business works. That's not how business works. You fucking clowns. And I'm jealous.
Totally.
I'm jealous. I'm going to bring up that I'm jealous, even though no one's saying I'm jealous yet. Oh, really? I'm just going to say that I'm jealous.
What was his pizza parlor argument? I didn't catch it.
So he said that if one pizza parlor closes, that means the other pizza parlor is going to shut down. And I thought Karl actually had a pretty good retort to this. And he said, no, it's like if in Nazi Germany, one pizza parlor was hiding Jews in the basement, and the other pizza parlor was like, hey, Nazis, there's some Jews in here. That's more what it's like, is that censorship is happening and you're welcoming it for everyone. You don't see that would affect your business. It's like if someone was going around and poisoning all the pizza and you were like, he should do that. That's great because he's putting some of the pizza places out of business. And then he's like, oh, fuck, he brought poison into my pizza place. What are the odds? Who would have thought that could happen?
He's brought this all on himself, too, with like the asking. He's like, oh, yeah, when you're done with your show, send me the receipts you get for like your super chats and shit. It's like, why? Just do your own thing, dude. You don't have to like fucking dick measure every single aspect of every show.
Yeah, well, that's the problem people have with that Aaron Imholt and Kevin. Those are the two best examples of it, where like they tell you how much money they make. Like someone in the radio business texted me who's interested in this stuff and said, "Hey, I'm not too familiar with this like Steel Toe show. I tuned in for a minute. It seemed like they were were they doing like a telethon? Like they were counting the amount of money they made today and like trying to get to a certain goal." And I was like, oh no, I think they do that every day. And it's this thing where podcasting has become just filling up your bank account. Like, hey, that's great if you can make a living out of it, but do the podcasting and make the living from that. Don't come on and say, guys, I need to make a living here. If you wouldn't mind helping me do that. No, do a good podcast and the money will follow.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Kevin was immediately blinded by the super chat onslaught when he moved to like it really got distracting for him. But and when he did an actual show, what was that guy he had with him? Lenny? Is it Lenny Marcus?
Oh, Lenny Marcus.
Yeah, when he actually did a show with Lenny Marcus, and it wasn't a terrible show.
Right.
It's not what it is today, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
the problem is, Cardiff. He's been doing that. So that show he originally did with Lenny Marcus is probably 8 years ago at this point, 7, 8 years ago. There are only so many people you can hate that you can rant about for an hour.
Yes.
I want to
not
see.
have it be fake.
I want to see the camera roll on his phone because his show just became super chats come in, holds his phone up, and just takes pictures of them on each and every single one.
Well, I also this is the first that like Kevin got all pissy because I said that his show is just reading super chat. Actually, it was when Karl left the first Stuttering John debate, like the second half of that show.
Yeah.
I said they should have just invited Shuli on because it just became Kevin reading super chats. Like it was very boring and it could have been a better show. Now, if Kevin wants to do that, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to, Kevin. Hey, Kevin, guess what? You're allowed to. Your channel's not going to get taken down. So I'm not saying it should. You're absolutely allowed to do that. But just as someone who's watching it, it's very boring. That's the trade-off you get when you do that, is that people are going to lose interest in hearing, hey, Drew Peeballs gave us $2. Let's stop and talk about it for a few minutes.
Is this the moment you wanted me to announce that all gearheads are supposed to go to MLC Podcast on YouTube and report the channel for various reasons? Is this the moment?
Yeah, make sure that we're going to war. Make sure you strike. No, obviously don't do that because it would be
gearheads.
You gotta clarify. Don't do it.
Obviously, don't do that because then it could happen to us. You understand why that's bad now?
I got it. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Got it.
Nancram, $7 Canadian. I love the smell of poutine in the morning.
Oh man,
fuck you, Nancram.
Don't make jokes like that.
Whimpering John, $2. Every time I go to the movies, I cry aggressively.
We're gonna get to John. Don't worry.
Joe Black, $2. Sunday morning, mow the lawn, phones on, joy, potato forever.
Love you, Joe.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say this is America's #1 NFL pregame show.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Next we have him talking about silencing.
Yeah, this is great insight, Carlin-esque insight here about the way the world is going.
Carl said, "I'm trying to silence them. Silence."
Me?
Like the Wizard of Oz. Silence. I'm trying to silence them. They're already at Rumble and making their own making a new super chat machine. How am I trying to silence them?
Can you pause it?
Silence them.
I sure can.
Does
Anytime you'd like.
Does he think Melton like wired up some type of contraption for them to get super chats?
Ramp the DeLorean to 88 and we can start accepting super chats.
The disgusting part of his voice. Can you please pause? It was very enjoyable.
This is what I'm saying. He sounds, maybe he's just an older gentleman now, but he sounds a little retarded when he's like, they got their super chat machine. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
I would love to set up a machine in front of Brennan. Like, if there's somebody that has the ability to do this, that actually spits out, when somebody super chats, it actually spits out a $5 bill. So just watching him collect the cash.
That'd be so funny.
But it's like one of those telephone booths that blow the money everywhere.
I was just going to say Brennan's in a booth.
At the end of the show, all the money goes in there, and whatever he can catch in 30 seconds.
He's oiling up before.
If it sticks to your clothes, it counts.
That sounds like a great bit for John, though.
Oh, that would be so fucking funny.
But this is the thing with these guys like John and Kevin Brennan is they don't have any fun with this. Like that idea that Kevin Brennan would be in a booth like that catching his super chat money. Like why not just have fun with that instead of getting angry? Like if he heard this, he'd be like, "Oh, real funny. You're a fucking hack." It's like just lighten up. Let your hair down, Kevin. Jesus Christ. You can't be this angry all the time. He went after Bill Burr years ago for being fake angry. It's like, why, your life's good now? Why, how can you be that angry? It's like, Kevin, how can you be this angry all the time? You should kill yourself. If you're that angry all the time, you should end your life because it's not worth living. Go to therapy or something.
I sent the mayor the clip of Bill Burr breaking down Kevin Brennan.
Oh, good. I'm glad that made the mayor's desk.
Yes, but he didn't play the whole thing. He only played, maybe I'll send you the clip. Because it's from the Porcelain Kevin Brennan documentary. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Yeah, I
Sure
have.
have.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Burr breaking him down was fucking fantastic. But Hamburger stopped it a little short of the good part. But you definitely want to check that out. Burr just captures him perfectly.
Yeah.
Just perfectly.
Dang Lizard, €5. It has to do with that. Greetings to Karl, the mayor of the Hackverse. Mike Loyal, subject of One-Eyed King. Cardiff Electric's the greatest podcast in the world today, and Craig.
Yeah, where do me and Cardiff rank in his cabinet? If Carl's the mayor,
I feel like Cardiff would be some sort of international guy. He's always all over the place.
Ah, yes, the famous international guy at the mayor's office.
But on the rise, definitely on the rise. Can I say, Mike? Can I say, Blind Michael, that
Sure.
it was you that made me realize I had truly arrived in this universe?
How so?
I don't know.
The Creep Off roast. Do you remember the Creep Off roast that you were invited to, and you decided to send a video clip?
I was not invited to. They asked me a day before if I could make a video.
Well, whatever. Let's not get caught up in semantics.
Let him tell this beautiful story, will you?
Okay.
But the fact that you mentioned me in your 3-minute video made me feel like I'd truly been accepted by this community.
Wow. It's like you got the Carson wave over to the couch.
Yes,
Hey, kid.
from you. Now,
Hey, kid.
that
Let's hear
was-
your story.
that was 358 days ago, and we still have not seen a tape of that event. Get the fucking tape out, Karl.
Well, it's at this point he can't release the tape of that. Now it's
Must.
become the bit.
He must.
All right, well, back to Kevin.
Sorry,
Brennan.
please go back.
Silence them. It's a win. They're not around. You think they wouldn't be gloating if my channel got taken down?
Depends for what, Kevin.
Wouldn't you think they'd be like, oh, they're not? They celebrate any fucking ally type. Remember, hey Bob, remember the time and Karl, you too. Remember my Wi-Fi wasn't good that Monday morning? You did a whole 20 minutes about it. And the BS show was watching me, right? But you're supposed to be.
Yes,
come
Kevin. Yes, an old man struggling with his internet is mockable. It's joke-worthy. You can make fun of that, of course. Now, if YouTube came and said, hey, we're not allowing out-of-touch old men to struggle with their internet connection. We're going to take that down. Then I think Karl would say, hey, YouTube, that's wrong. We don't like that. It's not good.
Cut it
Oh,
out.
fucking idiot. This is exactly like when my fucking internet went out. How? How is it all like that?
right? But you're supposed to be. Come on, guys. You weren't celebrating that. Anything. So imagine if my channel was fucking.
Why? So in Kevin's mind, Karl should have been on the phone with like Comcast that day. Like, hey, get Kevin's internet back. This is wrong. What you're doing to him. Fix his internet.
He did help Chad.
Is that right?
Karl helped Chad when he got strikes on his channel.
Karl's a helpful guy. I mean, when you're the mayor, you have that kind of responsibility.
It's true. We're actually, that was the end of that clip. So it's moving on to Not Jealous Part 2.
I mean, this guy, it's dripping out of him how not jealous he is. He wears on his sleeve how not jealous he is about any of this.
No. I mean, it's just, it's like, and Karl thinks like, I make the rules.
Mayor.
You want to silence them like it's Nazi Germany. You want to silence them because you don't have a good argument.
Wait. I don't know if Kevin knows which side the Nazis were on. Hitler was saying, hey, we're going to lift everyone up around us. Why is America trying to silence us?
Argument. A good argument for what? They're fucking idiots. They got their channel. Is my channel taken down?
Hey, retard. If idiots are off YouTube, we're all done. Don't you get it? Don't you understand? If YouTube doesn't allow idiots, none of us will be here. That's the part you're not getting.
Mike's taking shots at everyone now.
Including me.
Not me though, right?
No, not Cardiff. Cardiff will remain.
Am I low? Everyone in the chat saying I'm low.
A little bit, yeah.
I have him pinned on my end, so I can't adjust it anymore.
I'm as high as I can get. Literally
Throwing
and
Cardiff right
figuratively.
under the bus. That's how we do it here. Really, Craig pins the blame squarely on Cardiff.
Yeah, I was telling him, so if he can up his gain or something, go for it. I mean, it'll sound fine in post, but maybe not now. Who knows?
All right. We won't hear from Cardiff, but we'll hear from Kevin.
Taken down? And if it was, you think they'd be sitting around, everybody's sitting around going like, well, we wish Kevin well. We're not gonna
Hey,
gloat.
if they don't do that, if Shuli celebrates you getting taken down, then he'd be getting criticized. I don't know if you know this, Kevin. Shuli's taking a little guff on the internet. Not everyone's a big fan of his. So yes, I think Shuli would be getting criticized if the same thing happened in reverse. Yes, I do believe that.
They gloat every chance they get. My Wi-Fi didn't work on a fucking Monday morning, and they couldn't believe their fucking good fortune. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous of what? They pay the producers next to nothing. And now what are they going to pay them with? So I'm jealous of that? Oh, well, because they're doing well. I'm doing right.
No. Kevin doesn't understand anything. No, you're not jealous that they got taken down. The jealousy is fueled you being happy that they're taken down. Kevin, yes. I truly wonder if there's some sort of learning disability where he's not able to comprehend this. He's having a very tough time, and it's weird to watch him struggle like this.
I know
he really seems to have taken the turn when he got into the John business, and he scooped the big first John interview. He wasted $3,000.
I mean, has there ever been a greater waste of money?
Yeah,
right.
He's still hurting from that. I think he's still recovering from that loss.
Yeah. So.
No, I like how you and Karl and Melton are always like, they're killing at the Shuli Network. Yeah, they have they have to pay 5, 6, 7 people.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin. I don't know why them having to pay their employees, I guess, has any impact on you. That's not what anyone's talking about. Like, Kevin has talk about your finger on the pulse. Kevin has no comprehension of what anyone is saying at any time. He's just a doddering old fool.
Next here we have your favorite thing, more analogies from him.
He's good. He's got great analogies. We heard the pizza parlor analogy. So here's where he tries to, and this is what Kevin does, where he repeats himself over and over again. He's like, if there was a pizza place and one pizza place went out of business, or here's another way, if there's a bar and another bar went out of business. No, we got it, Kevin.
I like the cycling analogy was perfect.
The cycling analogy was much better than anything Kevin came up with. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this analogy and then hear Mike compare how Karl would alter the analogy to include the Nazis. So please go ahead.
Everything comes back to the Germans and the Nazis with that guy. That's what I've noticed.
I'm looking forward to this.
And I know I'm a coward, but I show my face.
Oh.
I'm a public figure. Everybody else is like, it's gonna hurt us. It's gonna hurt my orange. I'm an orange. And I have a family of oranges, and it's gonna, and if it hurts, if one channel gets taken out, it's gonna hurt me in the orange community.
Cardiff, does that hurt you that he's obviously taking a shot at you, who is a potato, and he has demeaned you into being an orange? Is that hurtful to you?
No, what hurts me is the fact that he's pretending I don't exist and using the faceless filter guys and using OJ as the example as the orange now. And he just exiled me from this altogether.
This is my favorite thing when I've heard anyone critical of you or any of the vegetables or Tukey, like, for not showing your identity. They take on this act that Kevin's doing right now, where it seems like he thinks that you believe you are a potato. You have a family of potatoes, and you live your life as a potato. It seems like he believes you're really committed to this character.
Well, he's right. Yes, that's correct.
Spot the lie.
And the potato community will also suffer. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how these people, like, they live in some fantasy world. It's bad. If it's bad for one, it's bad for all. No.
It's mainly because, again, to bring up jealousy. I don't know if you guys agree that Kevin sounds a little jealous. The mayor thing, when he calls Karl the mayor, that's such projection, because clearly, in Kevin's mind, he wants to be the mayor of the Hackverse or whatever he calls it. Like, he really he pictures himself as Mr. Mayor. We all lift Kevin up on our shoulders and say, "Lead us, Kevin, into the black. Get us to the promised land. Like, he kind of sees himself that way, and he's jealous that I guess Karl has that title. I never thought of him as the mayor, but apparently he is.
And for the record, Karl only ran for mayor of the Dabbleverse. That's the only position he wanted. The Hackverse was just bestowed upon him.
Right. He won the write-in vote against all odds there.
This is the last Brennan clip. It's just labeled more bitching.
It was, and honestly, I could have kept going, but it was just more analogies. It was the orange farm and the pizza parlor and bars, and it was all the same analogy over and over.
Can I keep beating the mayor thing to death for one more second?
Please do.
It's like the Dabbleverse and the Hackverse were neighboring towns, and the Dabbleverse was being run so successfully by Mayor Karl that the citizens of the Hackverse
Can we merge?
That guy. We need him.
I'll say though,
Cardiff,
you're crackling a little bit. I will say you're pulling a. Speaking of Karl, you're pulling a Karl from the other night on Who Had These Socials.
Well, now I cranked it. Okay, let me turn it down.
All right.
Let's get it. That sounds good.
Okay.
We'll have to get you fired up again about the mayor, and we'll truly test it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, the mayor?
Because I'm supposed to be a good sport, right, Karl? Karl literally trolls people. Opie and Stuttering.
This is where Kevin Zaffoni is when he's friends with Karl. Karl does a great show. Karl's a great broadcaster. It's a really interesting premise. He's the first one to do it. We're all ripping Karl off. And then when he doesn't like Karl, it's, all Karl does is troll people. And by the way, in Kevin's mind, all of a sudden trolling people is bad now. It's not what he does every single day on every single show that he's ever done.
Opie and Stuttering John. That's his whole thing. But then he's supposed to be like, come on, take the high road. All you do is troll people. That's the high road? Wow. And again, Karl, where is the episode about Shuli losing his channel? More shit about John, more shit about me, more shit about other comics people don't even care about. Where is the clip?
You guys are funnier to make fun of. Can I just say this? Like, Shuli, people are like, oh, talk about Shuli more. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff to talk about Shuli with. He's not as fun to make fun of. You guys are more fun to make fun of because you're more delusional, you're sillier characters, you're dumber, you're more out of touch. Like, Shuli, I'm sure there's plenty of shit to mock there. But it's more fun to make fun of Kevin and John because of the absurdity of their characters and their complete delusion and not seeing what everyone's pointing out to them.
But it does. Kevin is exactly the same like John, where he feels that Karl has this moral or legal obligation to cover Shuli as well. Well, equal time. Equal time. You got to give all the candidates equal time.
That's exactly. He's talking about it like it's, this fake news media who's not giving the right a fair shot. Karl is trying to censor them by being anti-John and Kevin, but not being anti-Shuli enough. It's very weird that
Karl is like CNN.
Karl's exactly like CNN.
Like
although he's got his opinions on Jews are the same as Fox News.
Just gonna say, it's like if Karl had a sub shop ran by Jews.
People don't even care about. Where is the clip about Shuli's channel?
Where is it?
That's what it all comes down to. Is like, why don't you make fun of the guys I want you to make fun of? Just do it yourself, Kevin.
He's not even saying he's not doing it. He's just saying he can't find it on his YouTube channel. Where is it?
Where is it? I can't operate this.
This guy does 3-hour shows. I don't know where to find the Shuli clip.
But, do it yourself, Kevin. Like, if there's something that I feel like a show that no other show is talking about that I would like to be talked about, you know what I would do? I wouldn't go, hey, Karl, why aren't you talking about this? I would bring it up on my show. And then hopefully people say, oh, he's exploring something that the other shows aren't. Maybe I'll watch this, and maybe I'll find it interesting, rather than begging Daddy Karl to do the dirty work for you. And you know why he's begging Karl to do it? Because more people will listen. He wants a show where people are actually listening and engaged to make fun of Shuli, and he knows that his show is not that. So he wants Karl to use his audience to berate Shuli the way Kevin wishes he could.
Does he still put out an audio podcast, Brennan?
I don't think so.
He doesn't put because
you know what? I think he does actually. I think
Does he?
someone told me recently he does.
I can check right now.
Get on that.
That's very
Jamie.
important. Please.
I'll get on that. I'll throw up some super chats as I'm looking.
Thanks,
Oh,
Jamie.
Blinky Jedi, $2 says the army major steals valor and must pay for a war crime. That's uncalled for.
That's a friend of ours you're talking about, sir.
Yeah. Dang Lizard, €2. Cardiff, stop using the B word. It's insightful, Mike.
The B word.
Blind
Which one was he
cocksucker?
using?
I don't know which one. That's 2 words. It's the BC word.
Jason Fusco, $2. More OJ.
No.
CJ Spags, $100.
Whoa!
Boom.
Hey, sir, you're too
Welcome.
kind.
Welcome to the super chat machine, boys.
Let me catch those.
Now, Blind Mike, just for the record, Craig is like a paid employee. We're not splitting the super chats 3 ways today, right?
He
gets a salary,
Send me your
that's it.
demands.
The last episode that Brennan posted was August 28th. The one before that was February 16th. It looks like he's doing one a month.
Okay.
February to August is
Wait,
one
how is
month?
that once a month? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I went past
One a
that. And
year?
then it was January, then it was December, then November, then October. So yeah,
Okay.
just one so far, or 2 this
But you
year.
understand there are several months between February and August, right?
I realized the mistake of the beginning. Yes.
Okay.
One a month in the winter time. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
winter podcaster.
Yeah. There are 2 here from 2023, so that averages out to about 1 a month.
John Kaludi, $2. Potato, show a clip of you rapping "Bust a Move," please.
I'll say I sent that was in the email for WATS this week, and Karl ignored it. He didn't find you interesting enough to play.
He
Wow.
played it on. Actually, you might be upset. He played on Who Are These Broadcasters?
That son of a bitch.
he took it to his new baby his new show. Like, I mean, as pissed off as Vinny is at you for
Yeah.
stealing Carl's attention, you should be at Christian Blatt and Eric Zane for just pushing.
Yeah, how
you
does it
down a
even
peg.
qualify? You're not a broadcaster.
If it makes you feel any better, Christian's in the chat right now, and
Of course
everyone's
he
telling
is.
him to swallow lead. So that makes you feel any better.
It does, actually. Yeah.
Jason Fusco, $2. OJ, the hardest working fruit in podcasting.
I don't know about that.
Blackcast, $2. KB is 100% this slow. He doesn't get it. FKB.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's an act, but
Dang Lizard, €5. Nazi Germany banned Jewish-owned business. KB is just saying it was a great move for other businesses. Mimi, $5. No comment.
okay.
Dang Lizard, €5. KB should be worried as it goes full circle if the potato community suffers, then the Irish KBs suffer.
Exactly. That's exactly right. He should know from the Great Famine.
The Great Famine, and that is all for now.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, for the super chats. By the way, I should remind everyone to go to blindmike.net. That's where you can support this program. If you want to become a YouTube member, you can do that. If you want to become a Patreon member, you can do that as well. Or if you just want to support the show for free, Why Are You Laughing and Who Are These Socials? Links are there as well, blindmike.net. And where can people find you, Cardiff?
I was going to say, you must have mispronounced patreon.com/Cardiff Electric and at Cardiff Electric on YouTube. Yes, that's where you should be sending all of your gearheads.
And subreddit surfing is
Do
back.
it!
To support
Yes,
the
subreddit
YouTube,
surfing.
not ban them.
Season 2 of Subreddit Surfing returns this Monday, September 11th.
Excellent.
We will change the narrative on what September 11th means to
good.
Americans.
Yes. September 11th, forget is their slogan. It's time to move on.
Yes. Come on. It's been how many years? That's
It's enough already.
I went to see, I saw David Tell this weekend at the Wilbur,
I heard.
and he comes out. Oh, yes, I saw your buddy Tim there.
Yeah.
And he
this
comes
is
out.
interesting. Who else did you see there? Was Jimmy John there? And how did you really see anybody? Let's be honest.
Well, I spoke to him. I
Okay.
think it was him. But
Probably
Attell
AI.
comes out.
AI Timmy.
Attell comes out and he goes, it really is an honor to be here at the Wilbur Theater. You know, I actually got my start here about 22 years ago. I was working security at Logan Airport. And I said to myself, I'm gonna win this city's trust back one day.